Hello everyone. Welcome to Financial Markets by Dr. Supriya. On January 5, 2024, SEBI announced that naked short selling shall not be permitted in the Indian securities market, and accordingly, all investors would be required to mandatorily honor their obligation of delivering the securities at the time of settlement. Now in this video we will be understanding what's naked short selling. To understand that, we have to understand short selling and the normal process of buying and selling in the stock market. So to begin with, in 2008, naked short selling was prohibited by Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States after the subprime crisis of 2008. Now, SEBI in India also has banned, referring to the latest news of yesterday, that is 5th of January. So let's first understand the normal trading in stock exchange, how it happens. Normal trading happens just as any trading happens in any kind of market. A stock exchange is a market wherein the product is the share, we buy and sell those shares. So the investor in the stock market could be you, me, anybody, institution. They purchase stocks from the stock market and they sell it. For example, let us see here that this investor purchases stock of Z company at 1000 rupees and sells it at 1200 rupees. So here we have a straight profit of 200 rupees. Similarly, if this investor purchased at 1000 rupees and would have sold it for 800 rupees, there would have been a loss. So depending upon the situation, there is profit and loss, right? So that's a normal practice which is happening. The other case is short selling in stock exchange. In short selling, we do not have the actual shares in our possession. We don't own them. Rather, we involve a third party, which is the broker. We borrow the shares, the investors borrow the share, or the short seller borrows the share from the broker and then sells it into the market. So what are the three parties which are involved in the short selling process? The broker, the short seller, that is the investor, and the market, the place where we are going to buy or sell the shares. So the short seller approaches the broker that you please lend me some shares and I want to short sell them in the market. So broker, say for example, lends 20 shares to this short seller, and for lending them they charge a premium, a brokerage, a rate, a fee, you can say. They charge them and they lend the shares to the short seller. Now this short seller has borrowed the shares from the broker. Now these shares he is going to sell them in the market. Say for example, he sells them in the market at 1000 rupees. Now he is selling them first. Remember, he does not owns them. He's selling them first. He's selling them with the thought that the prices are going to come down. Now, if he's selling at 1000 rupees and the prices go down to 700 rupees, he will clearly have a profit of 300 rupees minus the premium, the brokerage, what he has paid, right? So, why this is happening? Because someone in the market is thinking that the prices will go up, hence they are purchasing at 1000 rupees from the short seller. And this fellow, the short seller, is thinking that the prices are going to go down towards the day end, hence he's short selling. So both kind of people exist in the market, and that's how the stock markets work in the short selling case. So in this ideal scenario, the short seller is selling, say for example, for 1000 rupees, and towards the end of the day the prices of the shares go down to 700 rupees, giving a profit of 300 rupees to the short seller. Now keeping his profit intact, he transfers the shares, the 20 shares, to the broker towards the end of the day. And that's how the squaring of the shares take place. Everyone's position is clear. The shares have gone back to the broker, he's kept the profit, and everybody has settled down their trade. Similarly, if in the market the prices of the shares towards the end of the day would have gone up to 1100 rupees or 1200 rupees, this short seller might have booked a loss and returned the shares to the broker. In the end, we are returning the shares to the broker. Now comes the third scenario on which SEBI has put a ban, that is naked short selling. So the regular trading process is allowed, the short selling process is allowed wherein the broker is involved, but in the third scenario, which is naked short selling, SEBI has put a ban. Now let's understand what is naked short selling. The practice of short selling shares without borrowing them or confirming that they can be borrowed is naked short selling. The method of naked short selling involves two main steps. First, you sell the shares without owning, without borrowing, and without securing the right to borrow them. Later, you purchase and deliver the shares in the market, hoping for a profit. And if you cannot afford the shares or if they aren't available, then this results in a failure to deliver. Okay. So, in short selling, an investor borrows shares of a stock, sells them on the open market, and then buys them later to return them back to the lender, which is the broker. So, there is an involvement of a broker. In naked short selling, there is no broker in between, no brokerage of shares, and no ownership of shares. The investor sells shares that do not actually exist. Over here, in this case, shares were existing. They were being borrowed from the broker. Somebody's shares would have been kept, broker might have lent them to the short seller, and they actually existed. But in naked short selling, the shares do not actually exist, and there is no involvement of broker, and directly signing the contract in the market. The short seller is directly signing the contract in the market for selling at a particular price and date and time. To make it more understood, there is no involvement of broker. This third party is nowhere involved in the naked short selling. The short seller directly approaches the market, places the orders, and he is trying to trade off those shares which are not existing in real. So this is banned by SEBI. Now let's understand this a little bit more with the help of an example. X is the seller, say for example, and Miss Y is the buyer. Seller enters into a contract of delivering the asset at a later date, and seller X, this is this person, sold at rupees 500 to the buyer. Buyer is Miss Y. So he's selling the shares at 500 rupees to Miss Y. Miss Y is purchasing because she's thinking that the prices are going to go up, and X is selling because he's thinking that the prices are going to come down. Purchased asset at before the time to deliver from the market, say the prices go down to 300 rupees. Now this person has clearly booked a profit of 200 rupees if the prices have gone down to 300 rupees. He receives the payment from the buyer, profits of 200 are generated, the asset is passed to the buyer, this person, and the price difference becomes the profit for the seller or loss as applicable. So naked short selling is illegal for several reasons. Now, why SEBI has put a ban on this process? Because of market manipulations which take place. Naked short selling could artificially depress stock prices, a form of market manipulation, because actually the shares are not existing. Transparency and potential of fraud is there, and there is a lot of financial risk. Naked short selling creates a dangerous environment for retail investors as it allows the sale of non existent shares, giving the seller the power to depress a particular share. You know, the bubble, the rise in the bubble can create, and whenever the bubble is going to blast, it's going to impact every stakeholder negatively. Hence, SEBI has banned this. And in 2008, after subprime crisis, US had already banned it. So that was it today from my side to everyone. I hope I was able to convey the concept to everybody. If you like it, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, Financial Markets by Dr. Supriya. Do share your comments in the comments box, and do not forget to share it with your friends, family, and relatives.